Chapter 91, Rapid Increase in Strength. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the valley, extremely violent energy roared into the sky. In the dark space, a huge whirlpool rolled up in the pool. As time passed, the spinning speed became more and more crazy. Wave after wave of waves hit the surrounding mountain walls hard, making a deafening roar. Perhaps because of the energy fluctuations in the valley, dark clouds gathered over the valley at this moment. For a time, the originally bright and sunny weather suddenly became covered with dark clouds. Soon after, in the pool, the energy absorbed by Douqi's body seemed to have reached a peak. Bang! As a thunderous rumble sounded, countless water columns suddenly shot out of the water tank, as if countless bombs were suddenly thrown into it. The water column burst open, like a downpour in a dark space. In the pool, countless water jets shot out overwhelmingly. At the same time, a gentle roar like a crane suddenly emerged from the pool, carrying majestic fighting energy, rushing out of the dark space, arriving in the valley, and then shooting straight into the sky. Boom! 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 Following this clear whistle, it seemed to resonate with the sky. Thunder roared in the sky, silver snakes danced wildly, and in an instant it started to rain heavily. Huge energy fluctuations caused space to oscillate and even distort. Even the entire Warcraft mountain range started to tremble at this moment. In the valley, cracks spread rapidly like spider webs, and deafening sounds resounded continuously over the valley. Deep in the Warcraft mountains, the amethyst-winged Lion King stared in the direction of the valley, with a look of horror in his beast pupils. This is Dozong. Someone is breaking through the Dozong realm. Some 5th-level monsters felt the pressure coming from the void, and they crouched down one after another, trembling all over and not daring to raise their bodies at all. In Qingshan town, many townspeople knelt down and worshipped toward the valley, as if there was a true god there. After a while, the vibrations in the Warcraft mountains slowly stopped. Bang! At this moment, a huge column of water fell from the sky, almost covering the entire valley. This water column, like a volcanic eruption, shot out from the void and hit the energy vortex in the void, directly dispersing it. The water column reaching the sky was several feet high. As it fell, countless dense water masses fell to the sky, as if forming a continuous rain curtain in the sky. The rain curtain slapped hard on the valley, making a crisp ticking sound. At this moment, the huge rain curtain covering the valley seemed to be cut open by a mysterious force, and then a smooth road to the sky was revealed, and as the curtain of rain slowly parted, an ethereal figure, like a banished immortal, slowly walked out. Furukawa stepped on the void, exuding an elegant temperament. The overwhelming aura swept out of his body, like a sharp sword that opened the sky, piercing the endless sky above his head. Dozong. As a huge breath came out, low murmurs came from the mouth of the figure in the void. Suspended in the void, Furukawa's figure remained motionless, but the majestic momentum that spread out made the whole sky shake. Dozong is the real watershed for the strong people in the mainland. Only when you step into this realm can you be called a strong man. Having such strength is enough to establish a sect. Even in the vast central continent, where strong men are like forests, the strong men of the Dozong can still survive. At this moment, Furukawa finally had a place in this world as he broke through the Dozong realm. Boom! The boundless curtain of rain continued to fall from the sky, covering the entire valley, and the sound of pattering echoed throughout the valley. The figure stood far away in the void. At this moment, the fighting spirit wings did not appear behind Douqi. Walking in the air is the unique sign of a strong person who has entered the Dozong, the motionless figure in the sky, and for a moment, the entire Warcraft mountain range was silent, except for the sound of raindrops falling on the leaves, which was clear and resounding. In the sky, Furukawa's figure remained motionless. When the boundless rain curtain reaches half a foot around him, it will automatically dissipate and open. It looks like there is an invisible barrier around him. At this moment, Furukawa's eyes were closed tightly, and his majestic aura rippled around his body, looking as if he had turned into a sculpture. Over the valley, the downpour of rain gradually stopped, and the warm sunshine poured down from the sky again, illuminating the entire mountain range. The environment after the rain seemed particularly fresh. The figure in the sky, after remaining motionless for a long time, finally suddenly trembled slightly, and its closed eyes slowly opened, and murderous intent surged in the dark eyes. Furukawa also breathed a sigh of relief, and his mind sank into his body. and he sensed it carefully. Now, his body has almost undergone a radical change. The meridians are not only wider than before, they are several times wider. Moreover, outside the meridians and even the bones, there is a faint layer of Douqi crystals, and it is constantly emitting a faint light. He clenched his fist slightly, and then threw out a punch without any fancy moves. The space around his fist was distorted, and a low and harsh sonic boom sounded like thunder in the sky. This simple and plain punch was almost as powerful as the might of Douqi when he used his full strength to perform the vermilion bird seal. Dozong and Do Huang are indeed two completely different levels. Now my strength should be stable at the level of a 2-star Dozong, which saves me a lot of running in time. I guess it should be the result of the energy pool. In the void, Douqi whispered to himself that some people who enter Dozong will have a relatively long running-in period before they can truly reach the 1-star Dozong, but now Douqi has skipped this step and successfully reached the 2-star level. Although this 1 star seems insignificant, there is a considerable gap between each star among Dozongs. Most Dozongs need several years or even years to improve their strength by 1 star through normal training. This kind of thing is not uncommon. After sighing for his good luck, Douqi looked at the valley below. He moved his feet and walked slowly down in the void. Then he walked down from the sky step by step and landed in the valley. P.S. I have something to do tonight. Sorry, there is only one update. End of chapter. Chapter 92 Yanran arrives. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sure enough, with such a large improvement in cultivation, the fighting spirit in the body will always be a little empty. In the valley, Douqi's mind wandered around in his body, and he shook his head helplessly. Fortunately, the divine fire body tempering technique can temper the fighting spirit in the body, otherwise, Furukawa really wouldn't dare to improve his cultivation level so wantonly. After finding a piece of bluestone, Furukawa cleaned it a little and then slowly sat cross-legged on it. As his thoughts moved slightly, the divine fire of life quickly enveloped Furukawa's whole body in it. Using the divine fire body tempering technique, Douqi began to temper the floating fighting spirit in his body. This has become an essential step after every breakthrough. Soon, Furukawa's body was completely wrapped in purple flames, forming a purple light mask. On the side, Xiao Jin stood guard as a golden bird, never leaving. As time passed, the dark clouds slowly faded over the valley, and the valley slowly returned to its previous calm. 3 days later, deep in the Warcraft Mountains, the Amethyst Winged Lion King finally walked out of his cave from the shadow of the terrifying pressure 3 days ago. It looked towards the valley with lingering fear, with a look of horror still in its eyes. Is he gone? That strong human being, looking in the direction of the valley, the Amethyst Winged Lion King couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when he saw that the strange phenomenon of heaven and earth above him had disappeared. It seems that the strong human being just picked a place here to make a breakthrough. Thinking of these, the Amethyst Winged Lion King suddenly relaxed slightly. Seeing that the weather was nice, he lay down at the door of his cave and basked in the sun lazily, but suddenly, the Amethyst Winged Lion King suddenly opened his eyes, looking warily in one direction. It felt the aura of a strong person coming towards its cave. I saw a cyan figure flying towards the depths of the Warcraft Mountains. Outside the Warcraft Mountains, the cyan figure exudes the aura of the powerful Do Huang. Feeling this aura, the Amethyst Winged Lion King's heart sank, his eyes became more solemn, and he stood up, his eyes fixed on the purple figure flying towards the depths of the Warcraft Mountains. The next moment, a powerful aura erupted, and the huge body of the Amethyst Winged Lion King rose directly into the sky, quickly rushing towards the cyan figure. Human, what do you want to do if you trespass on our Warcraft Mountain range? At the same time, the Amethyst Winged Lion King spoke human words and roared at the visitor. Soon, one person and one person were confronting each other in the sky above the Warcraft Mountains. I saw this cyan figure, but it was a human woman. She was extremely beautiful and exuded a graceful and elegant temperament. She was none other than the leader of the Yunlan sect, Yun Yun. I want to borrow the Lion King Purple Spirit Crystal for use. Her beautiful eyes were staring at the Amethyst Winged Lion King. Yun Yun's red lips were slightly parted, and her calm voice was as clear and sweet as pearls falling on a jade plate. Purple Spirit Crystal. It took 20 years for my amethyst-winged lion clan to shed a small piece of my body. How can you ask for it? Hearing this, the amethyst-winged lion king mocked. I can exchange it with you for what you need. Yun was a little wary of the notorious 6th-level monster in front of her, so she didn't speak forcefully. Exchange? Hey, okay, I happen to be in the shaped stage recently. I want you to get me a shaped pill, and I will give you the purple spirit crystal. How about it? Hearing this, the purple crystal-winged lion king suddenly there was loud laughter. The Xing Dan requires a 7th-grade alchemist to refine the Qi Dan. After taking this shaped elixir, the monsters will completely transform into humanoid forms. After becoming humanoid, their cultivation speed will be comparable to that of real humans. The lifespan of Warcraft is much longer than that of humans. Although some magic pills have the magical effect of extending lifespan, compared to the lifespan of Warcraft, especially high-level Warcraft, it is still somewhat short. It is conceivable that if a high-level magical beast is formed and can be cultivated safely for 80 years, how powerful it will be. Obviously, a piece of purple spirit crystal is far from comparable to the Xing Dan. When Yun heard this, Yun's eyebrows wrinkled slightly, and then she shook her head and said softly, "Sorry, I don't think anyone in the Gemma Empire can take out the shaped pill. However, if you are willing, I can exchange it for 3-level magic cores and for you to practice Zone-level advanced magic and fighting skills. If you're not interested and can't get the shaped elixir, just leave the Warcraft Mountains." After hearing Yun's conditions, the huge head of the amethyst-winged lion king shook his head, and without any hesitation, he directly rejected Yun's conditions. The level magic core is located in the Warcraft Mountains. As for the method, it has no effect at all on this magical beast. Seeing that the amethyst-winged lion king rejected her without hesitation, Yun sighed softly. It seems that a battle today is inevitable. The next moment, Yun slowly pulled out the long sword in her hand and said in a cold voice, "Since the lion king refuses to trade, I'd better go get it myself." Ha! Human beings are always like this. With a little strength, they think they can do whatever they want. Seeing Yun preparing to take action, the amethyst-winged lion king suddenly laughed angrily. Then, a monstrous aura spread out from his body and swept towards Yun. Really think that because of your strength as the fighting emperor, you can come to the Warcraft Mountains to act recklessly? Human being, if you dare to take action today, the king will prevent you from leaving the Warcraft Mountains alive. The amethyst-winged lion king stared at Yun with his huge beast eyes. Said in an angry tone, "In that case, there is no need to talk any further, let's do it." Seeing that the purple crystal-winged lion king had already spoken harshly, Yun said indifferently with a blank expression. The next moment, Yun raised her jade hand lightly, and as her palm was raised, the strong fighting spirit suddenly surged in her palm. Afterwards, a small blue tornado suddenly appeared over the Warcraft mountain range. At first, this tornado was 2 meters in size and kept spinning in the void. But after a while, the tornado swelled up against the wind, and in the blink of an eye it turned into a huge tornado of more than 10 feet, between heaven and earth. The blue tornado roared and spun, and the giant trees on the ground were constantly pulled out by force, and then twisted into sawdust all over the sky by the violent whirlwind. Humph, the Warcraft mountain range is not your human territory, it's not your turn to run wild. Looking at the increasingly huge tornado, the purple crystal-winged lion king finally couldn't help it. He roared at Yun, and a low roar came from his huge mouth, echoing through the mountains. As a lion roar sounded, the purple crystal on the body of the purple crystal-winged lion king suddenly shone brightly. In just a blink of an eye, endless surging purple flames suddenly burned out of his body. The purple flames gradually curled and rolled, and finally gathered into a huge purple fire column, rushing straight into the sky, shooting straight towards the huge blue tornado. The next moment, one man and one beast, 2 Douqi-level beings, started a fierce battle over the Warcraft mountain range. End of chapter. Chapter 93, Fierce Battle, Douqi wakes up. 1/2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 93, Fierce Battle, Douqi awakens. Above the magical beast mountain range, Yun waved her jade hand, and a huge green tornado suddenly appeared out of thin air. As the tornado continued to rotate, it swept towards the purple crystal-winged Lion King opposite with a violent hurricane. Wherever the tornado passed, no grass grew, and a yellow earth was created. The few magical beasts affected made a miserable cry and fled from their caves to the distance. What a strong human! No wonder you dare to be so arrogant. Looking at the huge tornado that was rushing towards him, a trace of solemnity flashed in the huge beast eyes of the purple crystal-winged Lion King. The strength of the human woman in front of him was somewhat beyond his expectations. However, as the king of the magical beast mountain range, his strength is naturally not to be underestimated. The purple crystal-winged Lion King roared to the sky, and his huge body suddenly burst into a dazzling purple light. Then, the purple crystal-winged Lion King opened his mouth and sprayed an extremely thick purple fire column towards the huge tornado that was rushing towards him. A moment later, the two huge creatures collided with lightning in the air. At the moment of collision, the space was almost silent. Boom! A thunder roared in the clear and cloudless sky. The huge tornado and the violent purple fire column collided fiercely in the void, and both of them released extremely terrifying energy crazily. And at the moment when the two came into contact, the surrounding space seemed to be slightly distorted. Bang! After the two collided, until a moment later, because of the high energy exhaustion, they were annihilated in the sky above the Warcraft mountain range. In the void, Yun and the purple crystal-winged Lion King were suspended opposite each other, both looking at each other with solemn expressions. Since the two started fighting, it has lasted for half a day. Until now, the man and the beast have not yet decided the winner. This is normal. When you reach the realm of Douhuang, if you don't have any particularly powerful trump cards, it is generally difficult to kill the other party. The purple crystal-winged Lion King glanced at the severely damaged Warcraft mountain range on the other side, and a trace of anger flashed in his eyes. Human, you are really too much. Lion King, you only need one purple spirit crystal. As long as the purple spirit crystal is in hand, you will retreat immediately. Facing the anger of the purple crystal-winged Lion King, Yun opened her red lips slightly and said slowly, looking at the aggressive purple crystal-winged Lion King on the opposite side. Yun's face was indifferent. In this half-day battle, she has always been in the upper hand. She believes that as long as she holds on, the purple crystal-winged Lion King will naturally surrender. Thinking of this, Yun's heart flashed a trace of luck. Fortunately, I took the Huangji medicine and raised my cultivation from 3-star Douhuang to 5-star Douhuang. Otherwise, I would definitely be defeated when facing the purple crystal-winged Lion King today. Don't even think about it. Seeing Yun's condescending attitude, the always proud purple crystal-winged Lion King would naturally surrender and roared, "If you want the purple spirit crystal, you must kill me. In that case, let's fight again." Hearing this, a cold light flashed in Yun's eyes, and he said lightly, after the man and the beast confronted each other for a moment, Yun finally moved again. I saw the green wings behind him flutter, and his body turned into a flash of lightning, instantly passing through the energy turbulence zone, and then appeared behind the purple crystal-winged Lion King, stabbing out with a strange long sword in his hand, and a circle of high-speed rotating wind blades formed on the tip of the sword, like a green ball covered with blades on the surface. Ding ding. The long sword with the wind blade chopped on the body of the purple crystal-winged Lion King, and a series of crisp sounds rang out in the air. However, the lightning stab of the long sword only left white marks on the purple crystal layer, and the white marks only existed for a moment before they completely dissipated. What a strong defense! Seeing this scene, Yun was shocked. The physical defense of the monsters was indeed much stronger than that of humans. Humph, you dare to fight me in close combat, you are simply asking for your life and death. Relying on its own defense, the purple crystal-winged Lion King snorted coldly, and then directly ignored Yun's ordinary attacks, opened his mouth and sprayed a huge purple fire column at Yun. Looking at the purple flame spraying, Yun frowned slightly, and then waved her jade hand casually, and a wind wall composed of hurricanes perfectly blocked the purple fire column sprayed by the purple crystal-winged Lion King. Seeing this, the purple crystal-winged Lion King also knew that his purple fire attack was ineffective against Yun. The purple light in the huge beast pupils was strong, and then the purple crystal-winged Lion King gave up the purple fire attack and chose to fight Yun in close combat. In a moment, a huge paw came directly towards Yun. Wherever the huge paw passed, it actually tore the air barrier, and a sharp sound wave sounded in the sky. Looking at the powerful physical attack of the purple crystal-winged Lion King, Yun finally showed a solemn look on her face. Then Yun raised her jade hand, and a thick and huge wind shield appeared directly in front of Yun. Bang! That the purple crystal-winged Lion King's violent paws fell directly on the wind shield, and with a burst of purple light, a crisp crackling sound suddenly sounded. In a moment, the huge wind shield blocking Yun was directly blasted into countless pieces. The physical attack of the purple crystal-winged Lion King was surprisingly so powerful. Afterwards, facing the physical attack of the purple crystal-winged Lion King, Yun had to rely on her own speed to dodge in the void. After all, facing such a physically powerful amethyst-winged Lion King, it would be a wise choice to fight him in close combat. Above the void, Yun continued to dodge the attacks of the amethyst-winged Lion King. It seemed that he was stunned, but if he looked carefully, he had not suffered any real damage. Relying on her extraordinary speed, Yun dealt with the amethyst-winged Lion King with ease. As time passed, the battle in the sky continued from noon to sunset. Looking at the huge sun that was about to set on the horizon, the amethyst-winged Lion King who had been tirelessly chasing Yun suddenly stopped. The huge beast's pupils, which were blood-red and glowing with purple light, were holding Yanran and Nai against the woman in the void. "Human, you have worn away my countless patience. If you retreat now, I can pretend that nothing happened." That the amethyst-winged Lion King stared at Yun fiercely, and his roar echoed through the forest. The amethyst on the amethyst-winged Lion clan can absorb the power of flames. After the sun sets, S strength will inevitably decrease. By then, the amethyst-winged Lion King will definitely fall into the trap. Thinking of this, the amethyst-winged Lion King became a little anxious. As long as the Lion King can exchange the purple spirit stone with, Queen will never come to bother me again. After being closely pursued for an entire afternoon, Yun's figure still looked so graceful and noble, with a blue wind looming around her, and she whispered softly, "In that case, don't blame King for being so polite." A violent roar roared from the giant mouth of the amethyst-winged Lion King, and an extremely bright purple light suddenly bloomed from its huge body, shining in the sky of the Warcraft Mountains. After a while, this bright purple light actually had the power to overwhelm the setting sun on the horizon. After the monsters watching below were illuminated by the purple light, their eyes suddenly showed fear and they quickly moved away from the battlefield. Seeing the scene happening on the amethyst-winged Lion King, feeling the violent energy surging in the surrounding space, Yun's face also showed a touch of solemnity. "It seems that is really," Yun murmured in her red lips, then waved her jade hand, and a strong wind suddenly rose in the surrounding space. Purple light enveloped the world. After brewing for a long time, the light suddenly shrunk. In just a blink of an eye, the purple light all over the sky was compressed into a deep purple light pillar only half a foot away. The next moment, the amethyst-winged Lion King roared, "Amethyst seal," that I saw a purple light beam in the sky above the Warcraft Mountains, flashing quickly like lightning. The speed of the purple light beam was extremely terrifying, and within a few blinks, it appeared in front of Yun. The moment the deep purple light pillar appeared, Yun's cheeks changed slightly, and the powerful fighting skills brewed in her hands were also displayed during the circulation of fighting energy. Split wind whirling dance. As Yun drank and fell, the space in front of him fluctuated slightly. Countless huge dark green wind blades, which were more than 10 feet tall, flashed out of thin air, and then entangled with each other, like a cylinder full of blades, spinning at high speed in a spiral shape. Rushing violently. Boom! Wherever the purple beam of light and the wind blade passed, the space was slightly distorted. In an instant, they collided with a terrifying force like meteorites, hitting each other heavily. The purple beam of light clashed with the wind scroll blade, and the wind scroll was obviously at a disadvantage. In just a moment, the wind scroll exploded, but the purple beam of light only dimmed slightly. After destroying the wind scroll blade, the purple beam of light penetrated dozens of wind shields placed in front of the mysterious woman in a devastating manner, and finally shot into her body. Okay. This is a seal. The moment the purple beam of light entered her body, Yunyun's expression changed drastically. The battle between Yunyun and the amethyst-winged Lion King rippled through countless mountains and forests and disturbed many magical beasts, but in a valley, it was still as peaceful as ever. In the valley, Guhi was wrapped in purple flames, like a cocoon of purple light. On the side, Xiao Jin was quietly guarding the purple light cocoon, his eyes warily looking in one direction. This direction is the direction of the battle between the amethyst-winged Lion King and Yunyun. As the star Do Huangshi Xiao Jin, he naturally sensed the battle between, and long ago, if this battle had not affected Furukawa, I'm afraid Xiao Jin would have rushed over to deal with these two annoying guys. As time passed slowly, the sun gradually set on the top of the mountain, and the sky slowly became dim. But at this moment, the purple light cocoon wrapped around Furukawa suddenly became darker. Seeing this scene, Xiao Jin immediately looked at the purple light cocoon. With a touch of joy in his eyes, the master finally woke up. The next moment, without any warning, the purple flames turned directly into wisps of purple flames, escaped into Furukawa's body, and disappeared. Afterwards, after sitting cross-legged on the bluestone for 3 whole days, Furukawa slowly opened his eyes, and lightning flashed across his dark eyes like thunder. Then, a violent storm arose in the originally peaceful valley, and even the air was filled with crackling sounds. As the pair of eyes opened, there was a majestic aura that seemed to have been silent for countless years. Finally, like an awakening army, it slowly raised its head and faced the sky, letting out a roar that shook the world. The monstrous aura suddenly emanated from Guha's body and swept towards the surroundings. Under this breath, the whole valley was trembling slightly, and a lot of rocks rolled down, breaking the original silence in the valley. Crack. The momentum was like a rainbow, getting stronger and stronger. The next moment, starting from where Guhi was sitting, thick cracks suddenly spread out. Even the mountains around the valley were full of cracks and were about to fall. Crack. Sitting cross-legged on the bluestone, a subtle sound suddenly sounded, and then a series of small cracks suddenly appeared, and then spread all over the bluestone at a very fast speed. Finally, with a low sound, the bluestone turned into countless fragments and exploded. The bluestone exploded, but Guhi, who was sitting cross-legged on it, did not move at all. His legs were crossed in the void, without any external help, just floating in the air like this. After being tempered by the divine fire, the fighting spirit in my body has become extremely pure. Guhi slowly spread his hands, feeling the majestic fighting spirit in his body like a mountain torrent, and a faint arc overflowed from the corners of his mouth. At this moment, a heroic feeling that the world is in the palm of his hand emerged from his head. Now, I finally have some self-protection. Feeling the powerful energy contained in his body, Guhi showed confidence. After coming to this world, Guhi's strength improved quickly, but he never dared to reveal his strength. Even though he had the strength of a star emperor before, Guhi still kept a low profile. Because he knew that even if he reached the level of a star emperor, he would still be invincible in the Jiama Empire. After all, now in the Yunlan sect, being watched by the Soul Palace, it is certain that there are Soul Palace people lurking in Yunlan sect now. But as he broke through to the Dozong realm, Guhi finally let go. Dozong is indeed, plus he possesses the source of divine fire, Suzaku seal, and the world is within reach, not to mention in this Jiama Empire, even in the entire northwest region, no one can hurt him. Moreover, breaking through the Dozong realm has also increased the strength of my soul a lot. The next moment, as Guhi's mind moved, a powerful soul force instantly erupted, with the valley as the center, like a storm, sweeping in all directions. Soon, the extremely powerful soul force immediately enveloped the monster mountain range in this area. Wherever the soul force passed, Guhi could see the situation in the mountains clearly. Suddenly, a somewhat familiar and embarrassed figure appeared in Guhi's soul force perception. Guhi frowned. Yunyun? How could she be in the monster mountain range now? It seems that she is in a very good situation now. With a murmur, Guhi immediately used the skill of a world away from the earth, and his figure instantly disappeared into the valley. End of chapter. Window, _tabula equals window, _tabula, _tabula. Push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, tabula below article feed, placement, below article feed, target _ type, mix. Chapter 94, Kill the Amethyst Winged Lion King. 1/2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 94, Kill the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King. At this moment, a full moon was hanging in the sky, and the moonlight was like water covering the entire demonic beast vein. The demonic beast vein at night seemed particularly noisy, with deafening roars constantly ringing and echoing. At night, a graceful figure was fleeing in a panic, looking extremely embarrassed. Roar, that a tiger roar echoed in the night, and then a huge figure slowly emerged in the night, about 10 feet long. This is a tiger-shaped demonic beast, with a pair of huge wings covering the sky. The whole body is lingering with thunder, and the violent breath is filled with the whole body. Thunder Tiger Beast. This is an extremely powerful demonic beast in the demonic beast vein, actually the peak of the 5th level. The Thunder Tiger Beast is born with the power of thunder. Its body is constantly baptized by thunder. It is extremely powerful. Among the monsters of the same level, the Thunder Tiger Beast has almost no natural enemies. The dazzling thunder wanders on the Thunder Tiger Beast, permeating the sky and earth, and sometimes falls on the figure fleeing in panic in front, feeling the terrifying breath behind. Yun Yun's beautiful face is full of despair. It seems that I can't escape today. Ever since being sealed by the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King, Yun Yun felt that her strength has been declining. In just 1 hour, her strength has weakened to the level of a 5-star Do Wang. Moreover, this decline is still continuing. Boom. The thunder that roared from time to time was constantly impacting her body, and the force of thunder was wandering in her body, causing her body to gradually become paralyzed. Her speed gradually slowed down, and the scars on her body continued to increase. Damn it! Looking at the Thunder Tiger Beast that was chasing her, Yun Yun's beautiful eyes condensed with extreme anger. This demon beast was clearly trying to catch up with her, but deliberately did not catch up, instead teasing her like a cat and a mouse. Damn beast! A trace of madness flashed in Yun Yun's beautiful eyes, and then an extremely violent breath surged in her body, like a long-dormant fire erupting. At this moment, Yun Yun completely burned the fighting spirit in her body, and an extremely violent force suddenly filled her limbs and bones. Humph! Human, do you still want to fight for your life? You are trapped by my purple crystal seal, and you will definitely die today. At this moment, a more powerful and violent aura wave suddenly appeared, and in an instant it enveloped the world of several feet in radius, and at the same time enveloped Yun Yun's body. This huge figure that suddenly appeared was the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King. However, at this moment, the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King no longer had the majesty of the day. The domineering horn on its head was actually cut off alive by the man, leaving a smooth cut. The aura of the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King was weak, and it was obviously seriously injured. As soon as the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King appeared, he widened his huge beast pupils, stared at Yun Yun with cold eyes, and was filled with murderous intent. Boom. As the terrifying aura descended, at this moment, Yun Yun felt that the whole world was collapsing. An extremely heavy force enveloped her whole body, and the force that had just surged in her body due to the burning of Douqi solidified in an instant. Then, her body could not bear the aura suppression of the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King. Her body trembled, and she could not help but fall to the ground. Yun Yun's breath became weaker. She stood up with difficulty, gave up escaping, turned around, and looked at the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King with some despair. It seems that she is doomed today. Thinking of this, Yun Yun felt a little regretful. She was still too confident. She underestimated the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King. The other party is the king of the Warcraft vein after all. He is really not to be underestimated. Now, even if she regrets it, it is too late. At this moment, a series of shadows flashed through Yun Yun's mind. Teacher, I wonder if you have broken through the Dozong realm. I am afraid that I can no longer follow your will and strengthen the Yunlan sect. Yanran, my good disciple, I am afraid that I will no longer be able to teach you in the future. And Elder Gu He. Suddenly, Yun Yun's mind inexplicably flashed Gu He's figure. Ever since the time when they refined the chi gathering powder together, Yun Yun had a little good impression of Gu He in her heart. The temperament of the other party and the superb alchemy skills deeply attracted her, and later Gu He refined the Huangji pill for her, which made this little good impression in her heart even stronger. For Yun Yun, during this period, she had never seen other men in her eyes, but for Gu. Yunyun always felt that there was an inexplicable feeling in her heart. The elegant face of Gu He flashed through her mind, and Yunyun showed a bitter smile. I am afraid that I will never see him again in the future. I don't know if he received the gift I gave him. Seeing that Yunyun had no intention of struggling and was determined to die, the purple crystal-winged Lion King suddenly felt bored and had no interest in washing her. The moment, the giant wings behind the purple crystal winged Lion King shook slightly, and the huge body pounced directly at Yunyun, and a trace of excitement flashed in the huge beast's eyes. The woman in front of him was a Douhuang strongman. If he ate her, his strength would definitely be greatly improved. Thinking of this, the purple crystal-winged Lion King opened his bloody mouth, with sharp teeth about half a meter long, and rushed directly towards Yunyun. Looking at the purple crystal-winged Lion King's bloody mouth that was getting closer and closer, Yunyun closed her eyes in despair. Under the terrifying pressure of the purple crystal-winged Lion King, her body could not move at all, and she could only watch herself being eaten. And just when the purple crystal-winged Lion King was still a few feet away from Yunyun's body, a monstrous pressure swept over from the side of the valley and pressed heavily on the purple crystal-winged Lion King. This is. Feeling this somewhat familiar pressure, the purple crystal-winged Lion King's huge body suddenly stopped, and the huge beast pupils looked towards the direction of the valley, with horror in his eyes. That Douhuang strongman has not left yet. At this moment, the purple crystal-winged Lion King was full of panic. At that moment, ripples suddenly appeared in the space beside the purple crystal-winged Lion King, and then a slender figure slowly appeared. At the same time, an extremely terrifying pressure came to suppress the purple crystal-winged Lion King. The purple crystal-winged Lion King's huge body shook, and its huge beast eyes widened, looking at the white figure that suddenly appeared in front of it in disbelief. This suddenly appeared figure was naturally Gu He, who had just come out of the valley to perform the near distance. The white clothes were like snow, and his hands were behind his back, and his clothes rustled, like a fallen immortal who was ready to step into the mortal world at any time. Gu He looked at the purple crystal-winged Lion King in front of him indifferently, and his eyes were full of coldness. Big. Feeling the terrifying murderous intent emanating from Gu He, the purple crystal-winged Lion King's huge body felt cold, and he said tremblingly. At this moment, Gu He's eyes flashed with purple flames, and he directly cast the soul fire on the purple crystal-winged Lion King in front of him. The purple crystal-winged Lion King wanted to explain something, but the next moment he was horrified to find that purple flames suddenly ignited on his body. At first, the purple crystal-winged Lion King was still a little stunned, because the purple flame was close to the color of the beast fire in his body, and he thought it was coming from his body, but the next moment, he felt a sharp pain all over his body, and a heart-wrenching burning feeling swept over his body. Roar! That the purple crystal-winged Lion King couldn't help but scream, and then his huge body fell to the ground with a bang, splashing a large piece of dust. Pain. The pain that penetrated deep into his bones made the purple crystal-winged Lion King couldn't help but roll on the ground. Several fifth-level monsters that followed the purple crystal-winged Lion King around were silent when they saw this scene, their eyes showing extreme fear, and they fled away one after another. My lord, spare my life. My lord. At this moment, the purple crystal-winged Lion King also responded. The terrifying purple flame burning on his body was related to the white-clothed Gu He in the void, and he immediately begged for mercy from Gu He. Then, facing the purple crystal-winged Lion King's plea for mercy, Gu He was unmoved, without a trace of expression on his face, just watching all this indifferently. He is not a saint, and in this world where the strong prey on the weak, it is the biggest mistake to have a kind heart. Just now, if he had come a step later, Yunyun might have been swallowed by the purple crystal-winged Lion King. Thinking of this, Gu He couldn't help but surge with a strong killing intent in his heart. His memory was completely integrated with his predecessor. His predecessor had a love for Yunyun. After the integration, Gu He was not as obsessed with Yunyun as his predecessor, but he also had a good impression of Yunyun. Facing the purple crystal-winged Lion King who almost killed Yunyun, Gu He naturally would not have mercy in his heart. With a thought, Gu He increased the firepower and burned the purple crystal-winged Lion King below fiercely. The raging fire directly wrapped the huge body of the purple crystal-winged Lion King. Suddenly, the howling of the purple crystal-winged Lion King resounded throughout the forest. The king will fight you. Feeling the change of the purple fire on his body, the purple crystal-winged Lion King roared to the sky, and then the huge body wrapped in purple fire rushed directly towards Douqi in the void. Obviously, seeing that begging for mercy was useless, the purple crystal-winged Lion King had already tried his best. Seeing this scene, Douqi showed a sneer at the corner of his mouth, and his expression was still indifferent. With a casual palm print, he suppressed the purple crystal-winged Lion King who rushed up fiercely. The gap between Do Huang and Do Zong is like a chasm. Facing the purple crystal-winged Lion King who had suffered a severe blow, Douqi just waved his hand slightly and suppressed it completely. The source of divine fire is condensed by the strange fire. The power of the strange fire is so terrifying. After a short moment, the screams of the purple crystal-winged Lion King slowly subsided. Its huge body has become a gray and black wreckage. With a thought, Douqi directly took back the source of divine fire. Suddenly, only the wreckage of the purple crystal-winged Lion King was left on the ground. Not far away, Yun looked at Douqi's back, her beautiful eyes full of gratitude. At this moment, the night was dim. She did not see Douqi's face, but felt that this back was somewhat familiar. Looking at the purple crystal-winged Lion King who was already dead under the purple flame, Yun felt relieved, and wanted to say something, but felt a sense of dizziness in her mind. At this moment, she was seriously injured, and her fighting spirit was almost exhausted. In addition, she was sealed by the purple crystal-winged Lion King, and she was already extremely weak. Seeing that the purple crystal-winged Lion King was dead, she could no longer hold on. Her eyes went black, and then she fell softly to the ground. In the void, Douqi's eyes lingered on the purple flame on the remains of the purple crystal-winged Lion King. This is the beast fire in the body of the purple crystal-winged Lion King. The purple flame, in the past, facing the source of divine fire. This purple flame would only end up being swallowed, but under Douqi's control, this beast fire stayed. The purple crystal-winged Lion King is a high-level demon beast, and this purple flame is its life flame, which is even more powerful than the purple eagle flame. The purpose of Douqi leaving it is naturally to give it to his disciples. If he can trigger the 10,000 times return, then he will be able to get a powerful strange fire. If Douqi's source of divine fire wants to increase its power, he must swallow various powerful flames. If he can swallow another strange fire, the power will at least double. Thinking of this, Douqi came to the remains of the purple crystal-winged Lion King and directly put the purple flame into the system space. After doing all this, Douqi slowly turned around and looked at Yun who had fainted on the ground. With a thought, Douqi appeared directly beside Yun. Yun closed her eyes at this moment. Her cheeks were extremely pale, and it was obvious that she was seriously injured. Douqi sighed, then bent down and held the unconscious Yun in his arms in a princess hug. Then, Douqi disappeared directly into the mountains and forests. When he appeared again, Douqi had come to a huge cave with Yun in his arms. This cave was the cave of the purple crystal-winged Lion King. The purple crystal-winged Lion King was the king of the Warcraft mountain range, and the cave must have collected a lot of treasures, apart from anything else. Just based on the large amount of purple spirit crystals and the accompanying purple crystal source in the cave, Douqi did not intend to miss the opportunity to plunder this cave. Although these are of no use to him, but for Ling and the medical immortal, they are extremely suitable treasures. If these treasures are given to his disciples, Douqi can also get good system treasures. Thinking of this, Douqi smiled slightly, then hugged Yun and slowly walked into the cave. Entering the cave, the light was not as dim as imagined. On the surrounding mountain walls, there were occasionally some purple crystal blocks inlaid. These crystal blocks were natural products of the cave. In the human world, these purple crystal blocks are very precious decorative items and are worth a lot of money. The deep and spacious cave is dotted with these purple crystal blocks, which is extremely beautiful. Looking at these naturally formed caves, Douqi could only sigh in his heart that this lion, which has become a spirit, actually knows how to enjoy a comfortable life better than humans. P.S. There are too many things to do during the May Day holiday. Several friends got married and I was running around. I was really too busy. I will start updating normally tomorrow, with 1,000 words per day. Thank you for your support. End of chapter. Window _tabula equals window _tabula push mode thumbs feed 01 container tabula below article thumbnail 300 x 250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300 by 250, target underscore type, mix. Chapter 95 Guess. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Slowly stepping into the cave, Douqi held Yunyun through the long cave passage. After a while, two forked roads appeared in front. After sensing his soul power, Furukawa headed towards the side passage. This passage was quite tortuous. As he got closer and closer, Furukawa suddenly discovered that the surrounding temperature was getting hotter and hotter. The next moment, Furukawa was too lazy to leave, so he simply used so close to the end of the world and walked directly through the passage. In an instant, Furukawa came inside the cave. Inside the cave, the temperature is even higher. Furukawa's gaze stopped directly at the center of the cave. There, a full meter-high amethyst stone accumulated into a square platform-like shape. On the amethyst stone platform, a purple spherical object the size of Furukawa's head was placed in it. Furukawa looked at the purple ball and suddenly discovered that all the heat inside the cave was released by this thing. A trace of surprise flashed before his eyes. Is this the amethyst source? The energy contained in it is indeed a bit scary. Furukawa came to a corner and put Yunyun down directly. Then he took out a jade bottle from the ring, poured out a healing elixir and put it into her mouth. After finishing this, Furukawa came to the amethyst stone platform. He touched the amethyst companion source with his hand, and a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. The heat in this cave is radiated from this thing. It feels cool to the touch, which is really strange. Such a strange treasure actually came from the body of the amethyst-winged lion king. The amethyst-winged lion king is a beast with extraordinary talents, otherwise it would be difficult to become a 6th-level monster. Whenever this kind of monster is produced, there will be a very small chance of being produced. When the little beast is in the wild, it also produces this kind of amethyst source. Because the amethyst source stays in the lion king's belly for a very long time, the pure energy it contains is quite spectacular. This amethyst source, when the little beast is growing up, is a 4th-level warcraft. After that, as long as it is swallowed, it can directly become a 5th-level monster, and the purple fire in its body will be more powerful than other amethyst-winged lions that have not swallowed it. The inside of the cave was extremely hot, which was not conducive to Yunyun's recovery from her injuries. Therefore, Furukawa decided to take out the amethyst source first. Having read the original work, Furukawa also knew that if he wanted to open the source of the amethyst, he had to find the amethyst. Thinking about this, Furukawa's soul force spread out and explored another branch. The next moment, Furukawa's figure disappeared directly from the spot. When he reappeared, Furukawa's figure was already on the other side of the cave. After the ancient river appeared, what came into view was a mountain of purple crystals. His eyes scanned inside the cave, and after moving to the center, Furukawa's eyes slowly stopped. There, a small amethyst-winged lion king was lying on the ground, sleeping peacefully. Facing this amethyst-winged lion cub, Furukawa had naturally sensed it with his soul power for a long time, so he was not surprised. The amethyst-winged lion king cub was not aware of Furukawa's appearance at all and was still sleeping. Furukawa's body flashed, and he came directly to the cub of the amethyst-winged lion king, silently, and then directly took the cub into the system space. This amethyst-winged lion king cub is also a 6th-level warcraft cub after all. It is much better than giving the giant iron-winged eagle to the little medical fairy, and it's also a flying monster. If he gives it to his disciples, then Furukawa will have a powerful pet at his disposal. Afterwards, Furukawa squatted down slightly where the amethyst-winged lion king cub was sleeping, stretched out his hand, and tapped lightly on a dozen nearby amethyst stones. When his fingers tapped an amethyst stone nearby, a soft sound came from below. Hearing the sound, Furukawa was slightly surprised. He quickly fumbled with his hands to open the stone slab. Suddenly, purple flowers shot out, irritating Furukawa so much that he quickly closed his eyes. After the pain in his eyes gradually subsided, Furukawa slowly opened his eyes and glanced at the small hole. He saw a fist-sized, irregular and sharp purple spirit stone, stored in it quietly. On top of the purple spirit stone, there was a brilliance. It flows and is beautiful in an instant. Purple spirit crystal. Looking at this extremely beautiful purple crystal, Furukawa smiled slightly and then took it out. As soon as he got the purple spirit crystal, Furukawa felt a scorching temperature. He could feel that it contained powerful energy. Picking up the purple spirit crystal, Furukawa flashed his figure and went directly to the other side of the cave, holding the purple spirit stone tightly. Furukawa came to the purple stone platform, and then knocked hard on the purple ball. Click. The purple spirit stone hit the ball. After a slight silence, a crack appeared on the surface of the ball. After a moment, the crack gradually spread, and then broke into pieces with a bang. As soon as the amethyst source was broken, purple liquid flowed out from it, soaking half of the stone platform. Seeing the liquid leaking, Furukawa quickly caught the jade bottle that had been prepared. Although the amethyst source is very hot on the outside, the liquid inside is actually a little warm and cool. Although the ball seemed quite big, the purple liquid contained in it could only hold 6 small jade bottles for the Furukawa. Afterwards, Furukawa was satisfied and put the 6 bottles of amethyst source into the ring. As the amethyst source was taken away, the heat in the cave lost its source, and the temperature soon dropped. Later, Furukawa came to Yunyun's side and looked at her. From close range, after taking Furukawa's healing medicine, Yunyun's face looked much better now, no longer as pale as before. His eyes swept over the beautiful face with a broken body. Furukawa slowly moved his eyes downwards, but his brows were slightly furrowed. He saw 5 terrifying claw marks on his chest under his jade neck, smeared with blood. The clothes were stained blood red. In her coma, her eyebrows were slightly furrowed, and a touch of pain was faintly felt on her cheeks. Although this appearance was somewhat inconsistent with her temperament, it was quite charming. After hesitating for a moment, Douqi took out a jade bottle from the ring and placed it on the ground, then stretched out his hands to untie Yunyun's clothes. But when his palm was about to touch Yunyun's delicate body, Yunyun suddenly opened her eyes, which were originally closed. A chill flashed through Yunyun's beautiful eyes. But when she saw that the person in front of her was Furukawa, her eyes quickly turned into surprise. Elder Furukawa, how could it be you? Yunyun suddenly opened his eyes, which made Furukawa's heart skip a beat. However, he quickly calmed down, and the expression on his face remained calm. He said in a calm tone, "Sect Master, your injuries need to be treated in time. Scars will remain over time. Now that you're awake, do it yourself." After saying that, Douqi picked up the jade bottle and handed it to Yunyun, who looked confused. Looking at Furukawa, who was dressed in white and had an elegant temperament, Yunyun instantly associated him with the senior in white just now, and then said with a pretty face in surprise, "Elder Furukawa, could it be that you saved me just now?" This thought came to mind, and even Yunyun herself couldn't believe it. Although her consciousness had been a little blurry before, she was deeply impressed by the senior's strength after seeing it with her own eyes. He can suppress the amethyst-winged lion king with just a few moves, and then burn him alive until he dies. Such strength is definitely beyond the realm of Do Huang. Yunyun guessed in her heart that the senior might have reached the Dozong realm. In the realm of Dozong, even though my teacher has been in retreat for so many times, he still has not reached the realm. How could such a realm be achieved at the age of Elder Furukawa? However, after Yunyun asked about her doubts, Furukawa smiled slightly in front of her, then nodded slowly and said, "Yes, I saved you." After receiving Furukawa's answer, Yunyun thought about the senior in white clothes who didn't respond for a while, but when she responded, her expression was slightly startled, and then her beautiful eyes showed a look of extreme shock. This is so capable. Yunyun suddenly looked at Furukawa in front of her with an expression of disbelief. Looking at Yunyun, who couldn't accept it, Furukawa smiled slightly without explaining too much. The next moment, an aura belonging to a powerful Dozong man suddenly erupted from Furukawa. Then, Guha quickly converged. The powerful momentum disappeared in a flash, but Yunyun caught it clearly. She was deeply impressed by the aura just now. Is the aura exuding from the senior in white yesterday? After taking back his own aura, Guhi continued to maintain an elegant smile on his face and said gently, "Sect Master, do you believe it now?" Yunyun's pale face kept changing, her beautiful eyes full of complexity. The senior in white who saved me just now was actually Elder Furukawa in front of me. After a moment of silence, Yunyun lightly opened her red lips and said quietly, "Elder Furukawa, can you tell me your true cultivation level?" Although she already had some guesses in her mind, Yunyun couldn't help but want to confirm it. Hearing this, Guhi hesitated for a moment and said slowly, "I have reached the Dozong realm." When Guhi answered, Yunyan's pupils shrank slightly, and even though she was prepared, she still couldn't help showing a look of horror. Dozong realm. Elder Furukawa is actually a strong man in Dozong. Yunyan looked at the familiar ancient river in front of her, and suddenly felt a sense of strangeness. It seemed like it was the first time I met the man in front of me. In Yunyan's heart, she felt that she was still very familiar with Furukawa. When Furukawa was recruited into the Yunlan sect, she was still a girl and had not yet succeeded as the head of the Yunlan sect. She watched Furukawa grow up almost all the way. As for the other party's strength, in Yunyan's memory, it still remains. At the Dowang realm, after all, the reputation of Dan Wang Furukawa has been deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. Now, Guhi told her that she was now in the Dozong realm. This made Yunyan unable to accept it for a while. Who would have thought that a strong man in the Dozong realm would be willing to be an honorary elder in the Yunlan sect? After hesitating for a moment, Yunyan looked up at Furukawa and said solemnly, "Elder Furukawa, why did you stay in Yunlan sect?" Hearing this, Guhi was slightly startled, then his eyes met Yunyan's beautiful eyes, and he smiled and said, "Guess." Chapter 96 Beautiful Healing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I guess. Hearing this, Yunyan was slightly startled, then looked at Furukawa's smiling eyes, and felt inexplicably panicked. For a moment, an idea flashed through her mind. Could it be that Elder Furukawa's place remains in Yunlan sect, for yourself? Over the years, Elder Furukawa has shown his admiration for himself intentionally or unintentionally. It's just that I don't have any feelings for him in my heart, so I always declined. But when she was facing death, Yunyan discovered that she had a good impression of Furukawa in her heart. This made Yunyan's heart suddenly become a little complicated. Over the years, no matter what requests I made, the man in front of me would try his best to help me. Last time, he enlightened and encouraged me about Yanran's breakup of the engagement, and he even took the initiative to help him refine qi-gathering powder. Then take the Huangji pill. After learning that he had encountered a bottleneck in his cultivation, Furukawa without hesitation proposed to refine Huangji pill for himself to help him break through the realm. Just now, he was in a life-or-death crisis, and the man in front of him showed up in time to save him. A series of past events appeared in Yunyan's mind, making her feel a little shaken. It seems that I already owe him too much. Suddenly, Yunyan's beautiful eyes narrowed and she thought of a question. Then why does Furukawa appear here? And he saved himself in time at the critical moment of life and death. Is all this too much of a coincidence? An idea suddenly appeared in Yunyan's mind. Could it be that Elder Furukawa has been following him, protecting him? Only in this way can it fully explain the appearance of Guhi in the Warcraft Mountains. These thoughts flashed through her mind instantly. Yunyan looked at the gentle man in front of her, and her heart rippled. Unexpectedly, the man in front of me would actually do this for himself. Majestic and powerful man from the Dozong should have commanded the heavens and become famous, but for his own sake, he was willing to lurk quietly in Yunlan sect, just to protect himself. For a moment, Yunyu was a little crazy. She looked straight at Furukawa in front of her, and her eyes became extremely gentle. Furu, thank you. For the first time, Yunyan did not add the word elder to Guhi's name. Although it still sounds very ordinary, it is much closer. Furukawa naturally knows what Yunyan is thinking. However, from Yunyan's eyes, he vaguely noticed that Yunyan's attitude towards him seemed to have changed a lot. Hearing Yunyan's voice of thanks, his heart was filled with gratitude for this life-saving grace. At this moment, Furukawa only smiled lightly and said, "Zong must be polite, and I happen to meet him. If Zong is in trouble, Furukawa will naturally sit back and watch. Did we just meet?" Hearing this, Yunyan murmured in her heart, and looked at Furukawa deeply with her beautiful eyes. She naturally believed what Furukawa said. This time she came to the Warcraft Mountains without telling anyone. How could Furukawa, a strong Dozong warrior, come to this Warcraft mountain range? It was obvious that the man in front of him was following him all the way. He said this because he just wanted to know that he was following him all the way. Yunyanshin thought about it, and Furukawa naturally knew it. He looked at the injury on Yunyan's chest, frowned slightly, and handed over the jade bottle in his hand again. "Zong, hurry up and apply the medicine. It's time. Over time, the wound will worsen." Hearing this, Yunyan came back to her senses for a moment, looked at Furukawa's concerned eyes, her heart warmed, and she wanted to reach out and take the jade bottle. However, when she was about to take action, she found that her whole body was in a state of numbness. After struggling slightly, Yanran slowly closed her eyes, opened them after a moment, and secretly said in her heart, "Damn sealing technique." Seeing Yanran move, Furukawa naturally understood what was going on, and said with concern, "Zong, are you okay?" Hearing this, Yanran struggled again for a while, but finally had no choice but to stop the useless struggle, raised her head and looked at Furukawa with a hint of shame in her eyes. "Furu, please help me apply the medicine." Hearing these words, Furukawa was slightly startled, then his eyes swept over Yanran's beautiful face, and his heart skipped a beat. That Koga is offended. After apologizing, Furukawa was polite, stretched out his hand, and then gently and carefully tore open a section of Yanran's shirt on her chest. Fang actually has a light blue metal inner armor. Looking at the light flowing on the inner armor like water waves, it is obviously not an ordinary thing. On the inner armor, there are 5 deep seals, silk threads of blood seeped out from the seal. Such a strong inner armor. If I had this thing to protect me, I'm afraid the injury would be fatal. Looking at the light blue inner armor, Furukawa felt scared for a while. Seeing Furukawa staring at her chest, Yanran's face quickly turned crimson, and a trace of embarrassment flashed through her eyes. What are you still looking at?" Cough. With a slight cough to cover up his inner embarrassment, Furukawa pointed to the blue inner armor that wrapped Yanran's delicate body, looked at her crimson cheeks, and said with a wry smile, "Zong, your scar seems to be on the surface of the inner nail. If you want to apply medicine to stop bleeding, you must remove the inner nail." After hearing what Furukawa said, Yanran's body trembled visibly, and her face became even more rosy. After a moment of silence, Yanran took a deep breath, and then slowly closed her beautiful eyes. Her long eyelashes trembled slightly, and she said with a hint of shyness in her voice, "Please help me untie it." Seeing that Yanran agreed to come, Furukawa would naturally refuse such a good thing. He stood up neatly and helped Yanran's delicate body up, then sat cross-legged with his back to her. Looking at the charming curves on the beauty's back, Furukawa slowly took off her top with slightly stiff hands. While moving the clothes, Furukawa's fingers occasionally touched Yanran's delicate skin. At this moment, Furukawa clearly felt that Yanran's body suddenly became tense. Feeling all this, Furukawa smiled slightly. Obviously, Yanran's heart was not at peace at this moment. Slowly removing his clothes from Yanran's slender waist, Furukawa placed his hands on the metal buckles of the inner armor and gently untied them one by one. After a while, Furukawa had already unbuttoned the last button, and he carefully separated the inner armor from Yanran's body. During the whole process, Furukawa's movements were extremely gentle, and Yanran did not feel any pain. Feeling the gentleness of Furukawa's movements, Yanran closed her eyes tightly, but a trace of warmth flashed through her heart. After removing the inner armor, Yanran's upper body was almost naked in front of Furukawa. Of course, the back of this one is already there. As for the front, if Furukawa wants to see it, he can see it through his soul power. It's just that, it's not necessary. Although Furukawa thinks he is a gentleman, but he still didn't bother to do such a ridiculous thing. He wanted to see it, and he wanted Yanran to be willing to be untied by him and see it openly. Naked in front of a man, Yanran's snow-white skin gradually became covered with a layer of light pink, and her delicate body trembled slightly. Feeling all this, Furukawa smiled slightly, then took off his white shirt and put it on Yanran from behind, which relieved Yanran's inner embarrassment in time. Seeing Furukawa's effect, Yanran couldn't bear to open her eyes, glanced at the white shirt on her body, and was slightly stunned. Then a trace of emotion flashed in her eyes. After that, Furukawa gently moved Yanran's delicate body again, letting her lie flat on the bed, face to face. Douqi found that Yanran at this moment had a seductive blush on her cheeks, and the eyes looking at her revealed a touch of tenderness. "I'm going to start cleaning the wound." With a faint smile on his face, Furukawa reminded him gently. Hearing this, Yanran nodded and responded softly, "Yes." Furukawa then stretched out his hand and slowly pulled the white shirt around Yanran's body until the wound was completely exposed, revealing a touch of snow white, and then he stopped. Later, Furukawa took out some clean cotton from the neji and poured out some light green liquid from a jade bottle. As Furukawa wiped it gently, Yanran's beautiful eyelashes trembled slightly. The noble phoenix hair ornament on the top of her head was also quietly scattered. She looked a little more graceful and a little more feminine like laziness. Looking at the man with his head lowered in front of him, Yunyan's eyes became gentler as he carefully cleaned the wound. After carefully cleaning the wound, Furukawa once again poured some more white powder from a jade bottle. Stimulated by the powder, Yunyan frowned slightly, and let out a low groan containing pain from her pretty nose. Okay. Pain. Hearing this, Ko's hand movements paused, then he smiled slightly and comforted, "It's okay, it will hurt soon, just hold on for a while." Facing Furukawa's soft eyes, Yunyan nodded slightly and responded, "Yes." Then she slowly closed her eyes and allowed Ko to do what he did to her. Then, Koga sprinkled the powder evenly on the wound, and then carefully wrapped her wound. After doing all this, Furukawa stared at the white patch of snow in front of him, and then slowly pulled up the white shirt with some resignation. "Okay, the wound has been treated and it will heal in 3 days." After clapping his hands, Furukawa stood up slowly and smiled at Yunyan. "As for the seal on your body, I have a way to solve it, but I will wait until your injury is completely healed." Hearing this, Yunyan slowly opened her eyes, looked at the pulled-up white shirt, and smiled at Furukawa. "That smile is truly magnificent." Furukawa was a little crazy looking at it. P.S. I updated 2 chapters today. Each chapter has 3 words, only more. Readers think the writing is okay, so you can vote and give a good review to support the author. I will continue with 6 words tomorrow. Warm reminder. If you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error or contact us at the bottom to inform us. We will handle it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. Chapter 97. Let Yanran worship me as her teacher. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time flew by and it was the next day in a blink of an eye. In the cave, Ko took out the package that the little medical fairy gave him before leaving. Opening the package, there were some pastries inside. The little medical fairy's craftsmanship has always been good. These pastries are obviously made with great care and are very delicate. They are very appetizing at first sight. Koga picked up a piece of pastry and put it in his mouth. "Well, it tastes pretty good." Furukawa couldn't help but eat a few more pieces. Then, Guhi looked at Yunyan, who was still lying on the ground, picked up a few pastries and walked over. Hearing Furukawa's footsteps, Yunyan subconsciously opened her eyes. "How are you feeling?" Furukawa squatted down and asked with a smile on his face. Feeling the connection in Guhi's words, Yunyan's pretty face showed a smile and said, "It's much better." Furukawa raised the cake in his hand and said slowly, "This is the cake made by the little medical fairy for me. Do you want some?" Yunyan had not eaten for a whole day and night, so she was naturally hungry at the moment. When she heard Furukawa's words, she nodded slightly and said, "Okay." Then, Furukawa stretched out his hands to help Yunyan's delicate body sit up. Then he picked up a piece of pastry, handed it to Yunyan's mouth, and said gently, "Eat it, it tastes pretty good." Looking at the pastry that was handed to her mouth, Yunyan's pretty face turned slightly red. Her beautiful eyes glanced at Furukawa, and then she took a small bite of the pastry. Seeing Yunyan's red lips squirming slightly and chewing slowly, Furukawa said warmly, "How does it taste?" Yunyan swallowed the pastry in her mouth and nodded gently. Thinking of the cute appearance of the little medical fairy, her beautiful eyes showed her fondness. "That girl's skills are really good. As long as you like it." When Guhi heard this, a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, and he handed the pastry in his hand to Yunyan's mouth again. "I will go out and get some fish back later to replenish your health." Yunyan's body is too weak now, so she can only eat some fish to supplement her nutrition. Yunyan took a bite of the pastry, glanced at Furukawa, and nodded slightly. Yunyan took a bite of a piece of pastry before finishing it. At the last minute, Yunyan's red lips even touched Furukawa's fingers, making Yunyan's cheeks become even more rosy. "Have another piece." Seeing Yunyan licking her red lips, Furukawa picked up a piece of pastry again and brought it to her mouth. Yunyan did not refuse and continued to open her mouth. After a while, "I can't eat any more." When she ate the first piece of pastry, Yunyan shook her head, indicating that she was full. "Then I won't eat." Hearing this, Guhi smiled slightly. then looked at the half-piece of pastry left by Yun in his hand, and threw it into his mouth. This was something his precious apprentice had carefully done for him, so it couldn't be wasted. Seeing Furukawa eating the pastries he had eaten, Yun was slightly startled, and then a trace of shame flashed in her beautiful eyes. Sect Master, why did you come to the Warcraft Mountains this time? However, Douqi didn't notice the change of expression on Yun's face. He picked up another cake and put it in his mouth, and said casually, "Why do you want to fight with the Amethyst-Winged Lion King?" Hearing this, Yun was brought back from her thoughts, pondered for a moment, and said softly, "The purpose of my coming to the Warcraft Mountains this time is for the Purple Spirit Crystal." Of course, Furukawa already knew Yun's purpose in coming to the Warcraft Mountains. What he was confused about was, what did she want with this Purple Spirit Crystal? Thinking of this, Furukawa asked again, "Amethyst Crystal, why do you want this thing?" "This is the treasure of the Amethyst-Winged Lion King. If you want this, it will naturally fight for you." Yun thought of this action and felt that she was a little reckless. "I thought I could handle the Amethyst-Winged Lion King as I pleased after breaking through to the Star Do Emperor," but she didn't expect that the Amethyst-Winged Lion King actually had a trick called Amethyst Seal as his trump card. If Furukawa hadn't appeared in time this time, there would probably be no bones left at this moment. With a wry smile on her lips, Yun said slowly, "I prepared this Purple Spirit Crystal for Yanran. I got a volume of ancient books, which records a first-class elixir called Amethyst Pill. After taking it at the level of the Great Do Master, you can directly break through 3 realms without any sequelae. And Purple Spirit Crystal is the main ingredient of this Purple Crystal Pill." Amethyst Pill. Hearing this, Furukawa was slightly startled, and then the information about the Amethyst Pill suddenly appeared in his mind. He inherited the memory and insights of a 9th-grade alchemist, and there was a record of this Amethyst Pill in his memory. It is a rather special kind of magic pill. Douqi turned to look at Yun and said, "That girl Yanran hasn't broken through to the Do Master level yet, so it would be too early for you to start preparing the elixirs she needs for the Great Do Master realm." Yun said softly, "You don't know something. There is news from Wutan City that the young man from the Shao family who broke off the engagement with Yanran, for some unknown reason, not only recovered his talent, but even surpassed it. In the past, I was able to break through to the realm of a fighter in just a few months, which made me feel a little worried. The 3-year agreement between Yanran and the Shao family boy will not only affect Yanran's future, but also affect the reputation of the Yunlan sect. Therefore, in the 3-year agreement, Yanran can only win, not lose." At this point, a look of solemnity appeared on Yun's pretty face. Obviously, she takes this 3-year appointment very seriously. After all, the Yunlan sect's decision to break off the engagement was clearly a sign of contempt for Shao Yan. This has already had a significant impact on the reputation of the Yunlan sect, but if 3 years later, Let Yanran, the pride of the Yunlan sect, was defeated by Shao Yan, whom she once looked down upon, the good reputation that the Yunlan sect has accumulated over the years would probably be destroyed. After hearing Yun's words, Douqi's face was slightly surprised. The Yunlan sect is indeed the #1 sect in the Jiaoma Empire. It can even know the situation of the Shao family far away in Wutan City so quickly. It can make Yun risk her life to come to the Warcraft mountain range to get the Purple Spirit Crystal. It seems that Shao Yan has brought a lot of pressure to Yun. In fact, Douqi didn't know, Yun's coming to get the Purple Spirit Crystal this time has a certain relationship with him. In the original work, although Yun came to the Warcraft mountain range to get the Purple Spirit Crystal, but the timeline will be postponed for at least half a year. There are 2 reasons why Yun came to the Monster Mountain range in advance. The first reason is that after taking the Imperial Pill, Yun's own cultivation broke through, which made her full of confidence in her own strength. As for the second reason, it was because of Let Yanran. During this period, perhaps it was because of the great blows suffered by Shao Yixian that Let Yanran lost her previous confidence and even began to question her own talent, whether she was really as talented as the outside world said. Perhaps there was a knot in her heart, which led to Let Yanran's cultivation state during this period. This made Yun even more worried. With Let Yanran's mentality, it is really possible that she will be defeated by the young man of the Shao family during the 3-year appointment. Yun plans to prepare the materials for the Purple Crystal Pill. this may allow Let Yanran to regain her previous confidence. In the cave, Douqi listened to Yunyun's words, looked at the worry on her face, and his heart moved slightly. After a moment of silence, Douqi slowly said, "Master, I have a suggestion here, which may be able to help you." Hearing this, Yunyun looked at Douqi with some curiosity in his eyes. Douqi did not keep the secret and said directly, "It's very simple, let Yanran become my disciple." "Become your disciple?" Yunyun was stunned, and asked in disbelief, "You want to take Yanran as your disciple?" Douqi nodded slightly, with a serious face, "As long as Yanran becomes my disciple, I can guarantee you that by the end of the 3-year agreement, the girl's cultivation can at least reach the Douqi realm." Douqi's words were full of confidence. With the existence of the 10,000 times return system for teaching disciples, he will become the best teacher. No one can compare to him in teaching disciples. As long as Let Yanran becomes his disciple, the 3-year agreement between Xiao Yan and her will be a joke. Let Yanran will defeat Xiao Yan in a crushing way. Douqi. Hearing this, Yunyun's beautiful eyes condensed, and her eyes looked at Douqi. "Elder Douqi, are you serious? The sect master doesn't believe me." Facing Yunyun's doubts, Douqi still smiled and said, "If you don't believe it, how about we make a bet?" Yunyun's beautiful eyes flashed. "Bet? On the day of the 3-year appointment, if Yanran doesn't break through to the Douqi realm, then I will agree to one of your conditions." Douqi slowly said. Hearing this, Yunyun was surprised and said, "Are you so confident?" Obviously, in Yunyun's heart, she didn't believe Douqi's words, although Douqi is already a Douqi strongman, but this can only represent his personal talent. Now, there are only more than 2 years left before the 3-year appointment. In such a short time, if Douqi guarantees to promote Let Yanran to the Douqi realm, Yunyun may still have some confidence in her heart. After all, the other party is a Douqi strongman, and naturally has many mysterious means. Moreover, Yunyun thought of the progress of Shaoxian's cultivation during this period. If Let Yanran could have such a speed, she could really reach the Douqi realm on the 3-year appointment. But this is only the Douqi realm. It is still far from the Douqi realm mentioned by Douqi. Douqi smiled and said, "Since I dare to make a guarantee, I naturally have this confidence. What do you think, sect master, do you dare to accept this bet?" Douqi looked at Yunyun with a hint of joking at the corner of his mouth. Yunyun did not agree immediately, but asked, "What if I lose?" "If you lose?" Douqi thought about it, his mouth corner slightly raised, his eyes swept across Yunyun's pretty face and said, "It's very simple, just let Yanran's name for you change a little bit." "Change the name?" Hearing this, Yunyun's face showed a puzzled look. "Change what name?" Douqi's eyes flashed with a smile. "If Yanran successfully breaks through to the Douqi realm on the day of the 3-year appointment, let her call you Master's wife in the future." Chapter 98. Little medical fairy breaks through and obtains the mysterious ice holy armor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Master's wife. Hearing what Furukawa said, Yunyun was stunned for a moment, then a blush appeared on her pretty face, and she said in embarrassment, "Elder Furukawa, you are not allowed to make such a joke." Douqi looked into Yunyun's eyes and said with a very serious expression, "I'm just joking." "Sect master, what do you think? Do you dare to accept this bet?" Seeing Furukawa's serious expression, Yunyun felt a little flustered for no reason. Yunyun lowered her head. She was usually graceful and generous, but now she actually knew how to speak. Her mind flashed back to the scene where Furukawa showed up at the critical moment last night to save her. For a moment, my heart was in a state of confusion. Seeing Yunyun's silence, Furukawa's eyes flashed with disappointment. "It seems that I am still a little anxious." Seeing that the atmosphere was a bit dull, he slowly said with a smile on his face, "Since the sect master is willing, then I will change," etc. Before Furukawa finished speaking, Yunyun suddenly raised her head, looked at Furukawa, and said in a serious tone, "Elder Furukawa, I'll bet with you." Hearing this, Douqi was stunned for a moment, looked at Yunyun who had a serious face, raised the corners of his mouth slightly, and said slowly, "Then it's a deal." Yunyun also smiled, her beautiful eyes were full of tenderness, beautiful and moving. "But, if you want to accept Yanran as your disciple, you still need her consent." At this time, Yunyun suddenly thought of a question. Let Yanran has always been strong-willed and likes to be forced. If she is willing to worship Douqi as her teacher, then even Yun will have nothing to do. Besides, Yun Yinshin also wanted to force her precious apprentice. Hearing this, Gu He nodded and said, "This is natural, I will make that girl willingly worship me as her teacher." Regarding this, Furukawa is still very confident. "You're just a little girl, do you still want to take by yourself?" When he gave the little medical fairy the treasure, Let Yanran's envy was seen by Furukawa. Furukawa believed that with just one power transfer initiation, he could easily control that little girl. Yun smiled and said, "Since you are so confident, it is naturally the best." Past. After hesitating, Yun spoke again, "Since Elder Furukawa, you want to be Yanran's teacher, then I will leave it to you to obtain the purple spirit crystal." Purple spirit crystal. Hearing this, Furukawa was slightly startled, then stretched out his palm, and a purple crystal suddenly appeared. Gu He looked at Yun, smiled and said, "You said, is this purple spirit crystal?" Yun stared blankly at the purple spirit crystal in Furukawa's hand, her eyes flashed with surprise, and she didn't even come over for a moment. How could this purple spirit crystal? Gu He smiled slightly and said mysteriously, "Sect Master, guess where is the cave we are in now?" Hearing this, Yun's beautiful eyes looked towards the inside of the cave. When she saw the densely packed purple crystals inlaid on the cave wall, a flash of light suddenly flashed in her mind. For a moment, Yun said in surprise, "This is the cave of the Amethyst Winged Lion King." Furukawa nodded, "That's right, this is the cave of the Amethyst Winged Lion King. I've already got the amethyst crystal." Yun also completely responded at this moment, since even the Amethyst Winged Lion King died at the hands of Furukawa and occupied his cave, there is nothing to be surprised about. The Amethyst Winged Lion King is the king of this area of the Warcraft Mountains, so there must be treasures hidden in the cave. If she had the strength to kill the Amethyst Winged Lion King, she would also stay here and search for it. After thinking about it, Yun took out a simple scroll from Neji and handed it to Furukawa. "Elder Furukawa, since the purple spirit crystal is in my hands, I will also leave the matter of refining the purple spirit to you." Yun collected the materials and originally wanted to give them to Furukawa for refining, but now she simply handed over the ingredients to Furukawa. Gu He looked at the scroll in Yun's hand, slowly took it, and nodded slightly. "Okay, you can continue to rest. When you recover from your injury, I will help you remove the seal." Gu He comforted Yun and stood up slowly. Yunlan sect, Furukawa Villa. The courtyard was quiet, without a trace of sound. A slight murmur slowly sounded in a room. On the bed, the little medical fairy's eyelids moved slightly, and she slowly woke up. There is a trace of black powder on the pink lips, which looks a bit abrupt. The confusion in his eyes flashed away, and the little medical fairy's mind quickly flashed back to the scene of him swallowing poison last night. Then, the little fairy doctor glanced at the room, looking at the black mist filling the air, and with a thought, he began to use the poison. Eating and coagulation technique. Then, the little fairy doctor made mysterious handprints with his hands. As the handprints were made, the black gas in the room seemed to be summoned by some kind of summons, and rushed towards the little medical fairy, and then all of it was absorbed. After a while, the originally relatively rich black gas in the room was completely absorbed. I saw a black pill floating in the center of the little medical fairy's body in the whirlpool of fighting. A trace of black gas passed through the cyclone of dough, and then slowly merged into the black maru. As the last wisp of black gas melted into the black pill, the little medical fairy on the bed slowly stopped moving his hands, and then opened his eyes. Slowly getting up, the little medical fairy's mind sank into her body, checking her own cultivation. After a moment, the little medical fairy showed a satisfied smile on her lips. 8-star fighting master. He really made a breakthrough. If the teacher knew that I had broken through to the 8-star dosher, he would definitely be very happy. Thinking of the teacher, Xiao Yixian's mood of just breaking through suddenly became a little depressed. The teacher has been gone for more than 10 days. I don't know when he will come back. Suddenly, Xiao Yixian remembered that the teacher mentioned the reward left for him in the room before he left. As long as he broke through to the 8-star dosher, he would go to his room and take it. I don't know what reward the teacher left for me. With a little expectation in her heart, Xiao Yixian walked directly to Gu He's room. Soon, Xiao Yixian came to Gu He's room. Squeak. Xiao Yixian did not hesitate and pushed open the door directly. As soon as she entered, Xiao Yixian saw 3 things on the table, 2 jade bottles, and a blue soft armor. Is this the reward that the teacher left for me? That with a flash of curiosity in her eyes, Xiao Yixin came to the table and looked at the 3 items in front of her. Xiao Yixin found that there was a small note attached to each of these 3 items. Xiao Yixin picked up the note on the blue soft armor and scanned it with her beautiful eyes. Ice Heart Armor, which is inlaid with several 5th-level ice attribute magic cores, has amazing defense, enough to resist a blow from a Douhuang strongman. After reading the content on the note, Xiao Yixin immediately understood. It turned out that this note was about the introduction of this blue soft armor. The teacher is really considerate. He even prepared a small note. Xiao Yixin picked up the blue soft armor with some surprise. After she touched it, she felt a cool feeling on the surface, which made her like it very much. Ice Heart Armor, 5th level magic core soft armor, enough to resist a blow from a Douhuang strongman. The information of Ice Heart Armor flashed through Xiao Yixin's mind, making her smile. The teacher is so good to her. Even such a treasure was given to her. With this soft armor, I will be much safer when I go out in the future. Xiao Yixin caressed the Ice Heart Armor lovingly, and then happily put it into her storage ring. At this time, Xiao Yixin looked at the 2 jade bottles on the table, and then picked up one at random. On the surface of this jade bottle, there was also a small note. Purple Heart Barrier Breaking, a 4th grade peak medicine. After taking it, the Great Dosher realm will be improved by 1 star of cultivation. It turned out to be a medicine that can improve cultivation. After reading the note on the jade bottle, Xiao Yixin's beautiful eyes lit up. Although this Purple Heart Barrier Breaker is aimed at the Great Fighting Master, but Xiao Yixin is not interested at all, because, in her opinion, now that she has broken through to the 8-star Fighting Master realm, it will take a long time to break through to the Great Fighting Master realm. Teacher, this is to prepare all the medicines for the Great Fighting Master realm for me in advance. Thinking of this, Xiao Yixin felt sweet in her heart. After putting away the Purple Heart Barrier Breaker, Xiao Yixin looked at the last jade bottle. Picking up the jade bottle, Xiao Yixin looked at the note on it. Soul Tempering, a 5th grade peak medicine, has a slight effect of improving soul power after taking it. This is actually a medicine that can improve soul power. After reading the introduction of Soul Tempering, Xiao Yixin's pretty face showed a touch of surprise. She flashed through her mind some of the things her teacher had said about soul power. Soul power is the root of life. Without soul, there is no life. When the soul is extinguished, there is a glimmer of life. For such a mysterious thing, everyone must maintain a certain respect. Generally speaking, it is extremely difficult to improve soul power. Only when the cultivation level breaks through, the soul power can become stronger, but the strength of this improvement is very weak. Soul power is a mysterious thing. Ordinary people can only change with it, and even controlling it is difficult. Even some alchemists only know how to drive soul power, but they don't have a complete understanding of it. It is precisely because of the difficulty of improving soul power that Xiao Yixin is surprised by the effect of soul quenching. Although this soul quenching can only slightly improve the strength of soul power, its value is less than an ordinary 6th grade medicine. In fact, in the eyes of alchemists who value soul power cultivation, it is worth a 6th grade medicine. Teacher actually gave me such a good thing. Xiao Yixin looked at the jade bottle in her hand with joy. With this soul quenching, she believed that she would soon be able to impact the 3rd grade alchemist realm. Mountain range of monsters, Amethyst Winged Lion King Cave. He was meditating and practicing, and suddenly a series of system prompts rang in his mind. Ding, detection. The host has given my second brother, Xiao Yixin, the 5th level magic core soft armor, the Ice Spirit Armor. Congratulations to the host for triggering the 10,000 times return and obtaining the 8th level magic core soft armor, the Xianbing Holy Armor. The Xianbing Holy Armor will be distributed in the system space. Please check it. PS, 6,000 words are completed. Please vote, please comment, anything. Chapter 99 Soul Realm, Take the Holy Soul Pill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding, it's detected that the host gave the second disciple, Little Medical Fairy, level magic core soft armor and Ice Spirit Armor. Congratulations to the host for triggering a 10,000 times return and obtaining the 8th level magic core soft armor, Black Ice Holy Armor. The Xianbing Holy Armor has been distributed to the system space. Please pay attention to the host to check it. He, who was meditating, heard the system prompts in his mind. Before could respond, 2 system prompts sounded continuously. Ding, it was detected that the host granted the second disciple, Little Medical Immortal, a 4th grade peak elixir, the purple heart barrier breaking pill. Congratulations to the host for triggering a 10,000 times return and receiving a 7th grade elixir, the Dozong pill. The 7th grade elixir Pazong Dan has been distributed to the system space. Please pay attention to the host to check it. Ding, it's detected that the host granted the second disciple, Little Medical Immortal, a peak grade elixir called Soul Tempering Pill. Congratulations to the host for triggering a 10,000-fold return and receiving an 8th grade elixir, Holy Soul Pill. The 8th grade elixir Holy Soul Pill has been distributed to the system space. Please pay attention to the host to check it. After listening to the system prompts in his mind, he was slightly confused, but soon, he responded, it seems that this little medical fairy has broken through the 8-star fighting master and collected the reward he left for her. A hint of joy flashed in his eyes. Originally, he left the reward in Yunlan's sect, but he only had an attitude of trying. He wanted to see if he did not personally award the reward to his disciples and trigger the system's return mechanism. Now it seems that this method is feasible. He was very satisfied with this result. After all, he can't stay in Yunlan's sect all the time, let alone stay by his disciples' side. This discovery of the system makes Rang De act more confidently in the future. Just, the only shortcoming, that's what he valued most, the empowerment and transfer of skills. For this item, you must be present in person to trigger the system return mechanism. This time, by going out, he undoubtedly lost an opportunity to pass on the power and receive the initiation. At this moment, if he were in Yunlan's sect, he would personally impart power and initiation to the little medical fairy. The cultivation base feels that it is enough to go further and reach the realm of star, the 4-star Dozong. However, such a situation is inevitable. It may happen more often in the future. What we do is to minimize losses as much as possible. Give the system return opportunities every month and make full use of it. After thinking about this, he calmed down. His mind slightly and slowly sank into the system space. After his mind entered the system space, he glanced slightly, and his eyes stayed on an object suspended in the void, a piece of soft armor exuding bright blue light. There are also 2 exquisite jade bottles. His eyes first stayed on the blue soft armor. Is this the Xianbing holy armor? A murmur came from his mouth. He directly ordered, system, extract the black ice holy armor. As he finished speaking, the blue soft armor in the void vibrated slightly, and then turned into a blue light and shot toward he. After the blue light disappeared, he opened his clothes and took a look, and found that he was wearing a blue soft armor underneath. With a thought, he poured fighting energy into the Xianbing holy armor. In an instant, a bright blue light bloomed, illuminating the entire system space. Immediately, an extremely rich force of black ice suddenly emerged and condensed into a black ice armor on he, wrapping his whole body in it. He touched the Xianbing armor on his body, and suddenly a cold feeling came to his heart. At the moment when the Xianbing holy armor was extracted, information about the Xianbing holy armor had already poured into his mind. Xianbing holy armor is an 8th level magic core soft armor. There are several 8th level magic cores embedded in it. With this soft armor, he is confident that no one can hurt him in the Dozong realm. Even the attack from the powerful Dozun was slightly resisted. This is because his current cultivation level is only at the Dozong realm. If he waits until his cultivation reaches the realm of Dozun, he can fully unleash the power of the Xianbing holy armor. At that time, there is no harm in resisting a blow from a strong person in the Dozun realm. Good baby. With a sigh of admiration in his heart, he immediately took back his fighting spirit. As the fighting spirit was withdrawn, the Xianbing holy armor returned to its original state and turned into blue soft armor again, sticking to his body. Then, he looked at the 2 exquisite jade bottles in the void. With a thought in his mind, he sucked a jade bottle over. With the jade bottle in hand, he also instantly got information about the treasure inside. Dozong Dan, a 7th grade elixir, can increase 1-star cultivation level after taking it at the Dozong realm. Taking the second pill has no effect. It's actually a pill that can improve your cultivation. After reading the information about Wandozongdan, his eyes lit up. This time, there was no power transfer and initiation to the little medical immortal. He felt a little guilty in his heart. now this dozong pill can just make up for his losses. His current cultivation level has reached the second star dose sect. With this dozong pill, his cultivation level will be upgraded to the star dose sect. In fact, according to common sense, this kind of elixir can rigidly improve one star's cultivation level. It is most appropriate to take it in the later stages, when you encounter bottlenecks. Dozong Dan, usually those high-level dozong are stuck in the bottleneck period and cannot break through for a long time. Only in the end did he choose to take this dozong pill. After all, dozong pill is only effective after the first dose, but these are not within the scope of his consideration. He has a discipleship system and there is never a shortage of training resources, if there is an opportunity. To improve his strength, he will never keep it. After putting the dozong pill into the Neji, he looked at the remaining jade bottle. He reached out and sucked the jade bottle directly into his palm, and a stream of information also poured into his mind. Holy Soul Pill, an 8th grade elixir, can greatly increase the strength of the soul after taking it. It cannot be taken below the dozong level, otherwise the soul will be torn apart and died. After reading the information about the Holy Soul Pill, his eyes lit up. This is actually a pill that enhances the strength of the soul, and there are also 8th grade elixirs. It actually requires strength in the dozong realm to be eligible to take it. As expected of the high-grade elixir, that he was filled with admiration in his heart. As an alchemist, the most important thing is to improve the soul. Now, although he has entered the realm of 7th grade alchemist, but after all, his foundation is shallow and he can only barely refine some 7th grade low-grade elixirs, but if takes this Holy Soul Pill, the strength of his soul will be greatly increased. For something as mysterious as the soul, ordinary people can only adapt to it and cannot even control it. Even today's river only knows how to drive the power of the soul, and it doesn't understand it very well. However, he has read the original work and accepted the memory inheritance from the 9th grade alchemist. I also know a thing or two about some secrets of the soul. In Douqi Continent, there is no difference in the level of soul power, but they also have realms. Every realm is like a chasm, with a huge gap. Because of this kind of soul realm, even some strong people cannot touch it in their lifetime. Why do many alchemists stay at the 7th level throughout their lives? Precisely because of this soul realm. In Douqi Continent, there are soul realms, 4 levels: mortal realm, spiritual realm, heavenly realm, and imperial realm. The vast majority of people, even the alchemists below the 8th level, mostly have their souls in the mortal realm, but their souls have their own strengths and weaknesses. Of course, today's river naturally stops at the mortal level, but compared to ordinary people, the strength of such a soul is much stronger. Some 7th grade alchemists, if by chance, may be able to faintly touch the spiritual realm. If the soul reaches this level, it will have an effect, that is, it can imbue the elixir with spirituality. Meaning, having accepted the inheritance of a 9th grade alchemist, he naturally knows that most of the 8th grade elixirs have extraordinary spirituality, and it is precisely because of this spirituality that they can reach the 8th grade level. No matter how excellent an ordinary alchemist is in refining medicine, if he does not endow the elixir with spirituality, then the elixir will never reach the 8th level. Heavenly souls are enough to refine 9th grade elixirs. As for the 9th grade elixir, the spiritual intelligence is no different from that of ordinary humans. This is almost equivalent to a kind of creation, creating a creature. This creature not only needs to be endowed with spirituality, but also has the power of heaven and earth. But if it wants to do at this point, the strength of the soul needs to reach this heavenly realm. At this level, even in the entire Douqi Continent, few people can achieve it. As for the soul of the Emperor realm, this almost only exists in legends. Only when you reach this level can you refine the legendary Imperial Elixir. As for the Imperial Elixir, it is related to the legendary Do Emperor, but I don't know how many people have never reached this realm. Looking at the jade bottle containing the Holy Soul Pill in his hand, a trace of heat flashed in his eyes. Although he doesn't know how far his current soul strength is from the spirit realm's soul, but there is definitely still a long way to go. If you take this Holy Soul Pill yourself, you will greatly shorten the distance, and even reach the peak of mortal souls. The power of the 8th grade elixir is enough to achieve this step. Afterwards, Hexenshin slowly exited the system space. After his consciousness returned to his original body, he glanced at Yun Yun, who was sleeping soundly. If he takes the dozong pill to achieve a breakthrough, the noise will be too loud and Yun Yun may be disturbed. After thinking about it, he decided to take the Holy Soul Pill first. with a thought in his mind, a jade bottle appeared in his hand, containing the true Saint Soul pill. Opening the cap of the bottle, a strong medicinal fragrance suddenly came out. He held the jade bottle and tilted it slightly. Suddenly, a dark red elixir the size of a thumb appeared in his sight. The elixir is dark red in color and has an extremely round surface. What surprised Douqi the most is the faint mist that surrounds the elixir. This mist seems to possess spiritual intelligence and condenses into various shapes from time to time, hovering around the elixir. Looks very mysterious, although the appearance of 7th grade and 8th grade elixirs is similar. Even those who know nothing about alchemy can see the difference between the two at a glance, and this difference is the difference in spirituality. The 7th grade elixir has its own spirituality, so it is called a living elixir or a spiritual elixir. $window, _tabula equals window, _tabula, push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, tabula, below, article, thumbnail, 300x250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300 by 250, target _type, mix. Chapter 100, Peak of the Mortal Realm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It is indeed an 8th grade elixir, and it is really extraordinary. Looking at the red elixir in his hand, he could not help but admire it again. I don't know when I can refine an 8th grade elixir. Then, he did not hesitate at all, and directly picked up the Holy Soul pill and put it into his mouth. The Holy Soul pill went down his throat and gurgled into his body. The moment it was in the Holy Soul pill, his head suddenly buzzed. The soul power at the center of the eyebrows suddenly expanded at this moment, as if it had taken a stimulant. The rapid expansion caused a severe swelling pain in the center of his eyebrows, and it looked like his head was about to explode at this moment. Feeling this sudden change, he was shocked. However, at such a critical moment, he did not dare to be careless at all. He could only concentrate and watch the changes in his body with all his attention. As the Holy Soul pill entered his body, a burning sensation quickly spread in his body, and then countless heat currents flowed toward his limbs. At that moment, streams of gray air quickly emerged in his body. The gray air passed through his body and moved forward to the center of his eyebrows. He was paying attention. As soon as the gray air entered his mind, it intertwined with the soul power entrenched there. At the moment when the gray air intertwined with the soul, he was surprised to find that a terrifyingly powerful strange energy was rapidly seeping into his soul. After a moment, was shocked to find that his soul strength was increasing at an extremely terrifying speed, as if he was taking some tonic. With the sharp increase in the soul strength in his mind, was happy at first, and then his face suddenly changed. He felt the swelling pain coming from the center of his eyebrows getting stronger and stronger. Somewhat shocked, never thought that this Holy Soul pill would have such a strong effect on the improvement of soul power. Feeling the increasingly intense swelling pain in the center of his eyebrows, was helpless and could only let his soul power surge at a speed visible to the naked eye. More and more gray airflows surged, and his soul continued to strengthen. At this time, really felt what it meant to have a splitting headache. At this moment, the temples on both sides of his head were also bulging high at this moment, like a small drum, constantly beating. It's going to explode. That the soul that suddenly became so powerful has gradually exceeded the maximum load that can bear. Finally, after a moment, finally reached a certain limit. Bang! In the depths of his mind, an explosion that almost made him faint suddenly sounded. After this explosion, his mind was directly blown into a daze. His eyes were full of golden light and his mind was full of chaos. At this moment, a cool spiritual power suddenly emerged from his body, making his consciousness, which was about to faint, sober up again. The endless cool power poured into the center of his eyebrows, and finally gathered in the depths of his mind, intertwining with the soul power entrenched there. In this process, felt as if his soul was in a hot spring, and a warm power instantly swept through his body. An extremely comfortable feeling came from the depths of his soul, making him almost unable to hold back a groan. This state lasted for a long time before it gradually eased. When his consciousness gradually recovered, he suddenly found that the swelling pain in his mind was constantly weakening. In his blurred consciousness, had sensed that his soul power was at least several times stronger than before. However, even with such an increase, soul power strength could never reach the legendary spiritual realm. After this kind of absorption lasted for nearly an hour, the strange power at the center of the eyebrows of the river suddenly became violent. Finally, an invisible wave that was invisible to the naked eye quietly spread out, and finally passed through the cave and spread on the surface of the mountain. Boom! As this wave spread out, at this moment, the ground of this mountain suddenly rioted like a boiling oil pan. The sudden riot of the ground also attracted the attention of many monsters in the Monster Mountain range, but the change of soul power seemed too illusory for them, except for a few extremely powerful high-level monsters that could faintly sense it. The other monsters could only stare blankly at the fluctuating ground, but they did not feel anything unusual at all. In the cave, Yun, who was originally in deep sleep, vaguely sensed a mysterious force, suddenly opened her eyes, and looked directly at the sitting cross-legged not far away. Is he practicing some mysterious method? Yun's eyes stayed on him, and a trace of surprise flashed in her beautiful eyes. With her vision and strength, she naturally could not detect the changes in his soul power. Vaguely, she could feel a strong pressure from him. This pressure even made her soul tremble. So strong. Yun stared at the closed-eyed meditating he in amazement, and a great uproar was set off in her heart. Of course, he didn't know about the movements happening outside at this moment. At this moment, he was completely immersed in the strong cooling power. The feeling of comfort reaching the depths of his soul was like being drunk, making him almost reluctant to wake up, and in the center of his eyebrows, because of the entry of the huge spiritual energy, earth-shaking changes gradually occurred. The soul is generally a relatively ethereal and indescribable thing. It is the root of life and is extremely mysterious. Normally, even for an alchemist of the same level as the soul between the eyebrows is just a void-like substance. However, under their control, these soul powers have many effects after leaving the body. However, after the previous changes, the soul power at the center of Day's eyebrows at this moment is no longer the void state it used to be. Instead, it is entangled together. Occasionally, it will beat slightly, just like a heart, and perhaps because of the aura, the soul between his eyebrows appears to be more vibrant than before, because the infusion of more and more spiritual energy makes the soul continue to squirm. It looks like there is something nurturing in it, but for some reason, there is always a strange feeling in the river. This kind of pregnancy seems to be missing something. After thinking hard for a long time, but without any clue, he had to give up. Along with the fluctuations of this land, more and more spiritual energy poured out from the edges, and finally poured into this small cave. As a result, the originally deserted cave became full of life. Vitality. In the cave, his face gradually became ugly as more and more spiritual energy poured into his eyebrows, because he discovered that no matter how much spiritual energy was poured into him, the soul between his eyebrows would always remain in a state of constant squirming, as if the last step could never be taken out. His brows were frowning tightly. He knew that he had reached his limit. To be sure, the increase in soul power brought about by the power of the Holy Soul Pill has reached its limit. Time is like water, passing by quietly. In the blink of an eye, he took the Holy Soul Pill, and a whole night passed. Secondly, the strange phenomenon here finally slowly dissipated. In the cave, it became silent again. Yun looked at the river for a while, feeling tired. She slowly closed her eyes and continued to sleep soundly. After a while, his eyelids trembled slightly, and he slowly opened his eyes, a gleam of light flashing in his dark eyes. Warcraft Mountains. A figure suddenly appeared outside the Amethyst-Winged Lion King's cave, and it was the river. In his right hand, he held several fat fish. He caught this in a large waterfall outside the Warcraft Mountains. Since taking the Holy Soul Pill yesterday, his soul power has been greatly improved. He had an intuition that now his soul power had reached the peak of the mortal realm. It is only one step away from breaking through the spiritual realm's soul. However, there is a huge gap between each realm of soul power, like a huge chasm. Even if he has reached the peak of the mortal realm, it is extremely difficult to break through the soul of the spiritual realm. Although the soul in the attack on the spiritual realm was defeated this time, Day was not discouraged at all. For him, there are many opportunities in the future. Entering the cave, she saw Yun sitting idle on a stone platform, holding her fragrant cheeks in her palms. When she saw the river coming back, she couldn't help but smile and said, "I'm back." He nodded with a smile, then raised some fat fish in his hand and said with a smile, "I caught a few fish to replenish your health." With his current soul power, it is enough to completely cover the Warcraft Mountains in this area. Wherever his soul power went, he used his ya and he arrived instantly. This is why he dared to go out to catch fish and left Yun alone in the cave. If there is any emergency, he can directly use his ya and return to the cave in an instant. He placed a few fish in his hand on a clean place, and with a few clicks, a pile of flames rose up. After doing this, he turned to look at Yun and asked, "Do you feel better?" Hearing this, Yun stood up slightly, carrying a faint scent of wind, and slowly came to the side of he. She frowned slightly and sighed. The external injury has almost healed, but the sealing technique on the body is. It's a bit tricky. He harpooned the harpoon and placed it on the fire rack. Then he turned his head and looked at Yun beside him. "You don't have to be anxious. After your injury is completely healed, I will have a way to unlock the seal on you." Since the cyan dress worn by Yun has been broken, she is now wearing his white robe. Others may wear white that looks a bit monotonous, but when it comes to her body, it has a mysterious charm set off by the uneven and exquisite body. As the lotus steps move slightly, a jade-like snow-white calf is looming, quite to be charming. Looking at the breathtaking beauty in front of him, he hoped that the other party's injuries would heal a little slower. In this case, the time the two of them spend together will be longer. P.S. 2 chapters and 1,000 words have been completed. Please support. Chapter end. Warm tips. If you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error or contact us at the bottom to inform us. We will handle it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding.